Zuckerberg's racing against a Facebook breakup from Instagram and WhatsApp. Facebook believes a government attempt to break up the social media giant from Instagram and WhatsApp would be a complete non-starter effort that would cost the company billions and defy established law. Learn about Facebook's defense and more in our video today. Zuckerberg's racing against a Facebook breakup from Instagram and WhatsApp. Welcome to Trending's Finest, where we give you the hottest updates on the world's most viral news, videos, and stories in the most exciting format. Click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to not miss a single beat of the world's pulse. A government effort to break up Facebook Incorporated from Instagram and WhatsApp would defy established law, cost billions of dollars, and harm consumers, according to a paper company lawyers have prepared in the wake of rising antitrust legal threats. All this in our video today, plus we give you the thoughts of the top lawyers on the matter. Stay tuned. Best content: antitrust probe on Facebook. U.S. competition enforcers are preparing a possible antitrust lawsuit against Facebook Inc., according to a person familiar with the matter. The Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, has been investigating Facebook for more than a year over whether the social media giant has harmed competition and could file a case by the end of the year, said the person, who was granted anonymity because the inquiry is confidential. No final decision has been made, the person added. A lawsuit by the FTC would mark another major escalation by U.S. officials in their campaign against America's technology giants, which have come under intense scrutiny in Washington over their dominant market positions, against a backdrop of concerns about Facebook's impact on politics, privacy, and the regulation of speech. The company's critics have argued that key Facebook acquisitions, including Instagram and WhatsApp, illegally reduced competition in social media. The U.S. House of Representatives Judiciary Committee Antitrust Subcommittee said it expects to release a much-anticipated report into antitrust allegations against Amazon, Facebook, Apple, and Google as soon as Monday, according to a source with direct knowledge of the matter. The chief executives for all four companies testified before the panel in July. During the hearing, the four CEOs parried a range of accusations that they crippled smaller rivals in their quest for market share. Combined, the four companies have a market value of about $5 trillion. Meanwhile, the Senate Commerce Committee last week voted to compel testimony from the CEOs of Facebook, Google, and Twitter as lawmakers opened a new front in the battle over hate speech, misinformation, and perceived political bias on social media, a month before the presidential election. The committee authorized subpoenas for Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai of Google, and Twitter's Jack Dorsey to force them to appear at a planned hearing if they do not agree to do so voluntarily. According to Senator Roger Wicker, a Mississippi Republican who heads the committee, the executive's testimony is needed to reveal the extent of influence that their companies have over American speech during a critical time in our democratic process. The committee's unanimous vote marked the start of a new bipartisan initiative against big tech companies, which have been under increasing scrutiny in Washington and from state attorneys general over issues of competition, consumer privacy, and hate speech. Facebook, meanwhile, is expanding restrictions on political advertising, including new bans on messages claiming widespread voter fraud. Straight from the Facebook horse's mouth. In 2012 emails published by the Antitrust Subcommittee over the summer, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said it would be difficult to compete with Instagram as the reason for buying the social media company. There are network effects around social products and a finite number of different social mechanics to invent, Zuckerberg wrote in one email. Once someone wins at a specific mechanic, it's difficult for others to supplant them without doing something different. In another message, Zuckerberg wrote out the rationale for buying Instagram would be to neutralize a competitor before backtracking in a later email. Keep watching to see what Facebook has to say in their defense, and also a legal expert weighs in on the matter. Stay tuned. Facebook's defense. The Wall Street Journal says it has obtained a document outlining Facebook's defense if the government orders a breakup that would unload Instagram and WhatsApp. The 14-page document offers a preview of the social media giant's defense as federal antitrust enforcers and members of Congress continue to pursue investigations into Facebook's power and past competitive behavior. Probes of other technology companies such as Alphabet Inc.'s Google, Amazon.com Inc., and Apple Inc. are also ongoing. The House Antitrust Subcommittee this month is expected to release the findings of its investigation into Facebook and other companies. The document was produced by staff at Facebook based on work it commissioned from lawyers at Sidley Austin LLP. While light on legal citations and technical language, it offers a window into how Facebook may defend itself if it's sued on antitrust grounds, and reflects its lawyers' sense that any attempts to force a divestiture of WhatsApp or Instagram would be fought in both the public square and in the courtroom. A large argument from the paper is that Facebook's acquisition of Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014 were examined by the Federal Trade Commission, which closed its reviews without issuing an objection. While the 2012 emails were new to Congress and the public, they weren't a surprise to antitrust enforcers that had cleared the merger. Facebook noted the FTC reviewed those documents along with the rest of a massive investigatory record, and it interviewed the company's senior executives, including both CEOs. Facebook's paper says the commission voted 5-0 to let the companies close their deal. Aside from that, the company made big investments to boost growth on those platforms, and they now share numerous operations that are integrated. In the paper, Facebook says unwinding the deals would be nearly impossible to achieve, forcing the company to spend billions of dollars maintaining separate systems, weakening security, and harming users' experience. For the government to revisit the Instagram acquisition or Facebook's 2014 WhatsApp acquisition years later, after the company had invested heavily to make the deal successful, would send a disquieting message to the business community, the paper says. A breakup of Facebook is thus a complete non-starter, the paper declares. Legal weigh-ins. Facebook's contention that past government inaction on the acquisition should limit current action is surprisingly weak, said Tim Wu, a Columbia University law professor, tech critic, and author who has said Facebook should be broken up. A government antitrust case against the company would likely rely on the argument that Facebook made serial acquisitions to reduce competition, a question that wasn't considered when the Federal Trade Commission originally chose not to oppose the Instagram and WhatsApp deals, he said. There's no way a decision on one merger would be preclusive, he said, noting that the FTC's reviews of both acquisitions had reserved the right to revisit the deals at a later time. Facebook's claim regarding the difficulty of a potential breakup would also be unlikely to carry legal weight. There is no "it's too hard" defense, Mr. Wu said. What about you? Do you think it's high time someone looked into Facebook and other tech giants? Or are Zuckerberg and his co-CEOs being bullied by the government? Tell us your thoughts in the comments down below, and we'll make a tech and legal conversation out of it. If you want to know more about the future of tech, check out our other video, The Biggest Changes in Smartphones Before 2021. 2020 is almost over, and the dawn of the new decade is here. We've seen crazy tech and phones this year, which means we'll see even crazier tech in 2021. Here are the biggest changes in smartphones before the coming year, and as a special bonus for you, we explore the theory of smartphones becoming obsolete by 2025. Check it out now. Thank you for watching. This is Trending's Finest. Always the trendiest, always the finest.